as a new homeschooling mom, how do I balance having 3 children in 3 different grades?
So one of the things that you do is you don't teach 3 different grades across all subjects. You've got 3 different children. I'm assuming that's at least some of them are going to be somewhat close. And, if you've got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, you can teach both of them world history and literature at roughly the same level. They're probably going to be in, or likely, maybe not, but they might be in different levels in their math and their spelling. But you don't, go back to think about the one-room schoolhouse that Dan was talking about. You're not actually teaching 3 completely atomized groups. And a lot of the schooling that you do is communal. So you're teaching a whole group of people, but then what you're expecting them to be able to reproduce from your teaching time is going to be different. So you may teach geography to all of your kids at once, but you're going to expect finer-grained answers from the oldest child than you are from the youngest child. And what you test, what you're pressuring them on. So you really do think, okay, I've got certain subjects where they're going to be learning at very different rates, and then there's other subjects where we're doing cultural enrichment and we're all going on field trips together, and hey, we're all doing that together as a family. We're all going to get different things out of it, but we're all going to get something out of it.
And they'll surprise you. Your kids will surprise you because you'll think you'll get better answers from the older one, and you'll have a younger one who has more interest and aptitude in that, and he'll outstrip the older one. And so,
it's good for the older one.
And it is. It's really, yeah. I mean, but it's like I said, it will surprise you where they are. I mean, one of the things that we've met, like I said, we have 9, and the oldest is 15. The youngest will turn 2 in November, and so. They all listen to different parts and different things, and they're all getting different things, and it's amazing at where different ones are. We'll spend there are certain times and periods where we'll let certain subjects not lapse completely, but we'll focus on them less, and we'll focus on other things. There's a part of it where it's not as essential that every single subject be moved in exactly the same lockstep with every other subject, and you can come back around and spend time and focus on things. You have a lot more flexibility and a lot more freedom, and like I said, and as you start to learn your children and be more comfortable with it, you can handle it in a lot of different ways. And
I mean, there are certain things that it's a lot easier to have a curriculum with, like math, because there is a progression. You go from A to B to C to E to, and they're all going to be at different levels because there's this curriculum. But a lot of things aren't that way. Biology and physics don't have that much. I mean, they have a lot of relation if you understand, but in terms of teaching them, do you need to teach physics before biology or biology before physics? I mean, most of the science, it doesn't matter that much what order you teach things. And so there, like Jonathan was saying, you just take all the children and you teach it to them. And same with history, because it doesn't matter if they learn about the Civil War now and then they learn about the American Revolution. I mean, you have to make sure that they understand the order and the progression of history, but that younger child will get a lot less out of it than the older child, but you can do it together. But then other things are very sequential. There's, certain spelling words you should learn before you learn other spelling words. And so the things that are sequential are usually the things that you really need a curriculum for. It's a lot more helpful to have a curriculum. The other things, curriculum, not curriculum, you can be more flexible on.
But even those things that are more structured where you have the curriculum and, maybe it's more geared towards a certain age of child, for, like, instance, spelling. It's very important that you teach. You don't have to be right there, right next to your child. Okay, we spell cat, C-A-T. If they can read, teach them how to read and follow instructions. And then they are more able to work independently for a while, especially if you have a younger child that is maybe learning to read or learning shapes and colors or learning their alphabet or phonics, then they need that more one-on-one time. The older child that's doing something that's more regimented in a curriculum can then sit there and do it quietly by themselves, and then you can go back and check. And then those things like, science or history or geography that you can all do together, you can have a separate time set aside for that. But I would say the thing that's been very helpful to me is teaching my children to read and follow instructions. And sometimes that means that you send it back and say, you didn't read the instructions because you didn't do what it said to do.
And in public school, they do this all the time, right? They'll do a test where the first line says, read the whole test.
Right.
And the last line says, just write your name at the top of the paper and turn it in. And the people who do all the things in between fail. The reason they do that is it's to teach you those two basic things, because if you can get those two basic things down, you've fixed a lot of the problems with education.